The DJ for the school's PA system loved it. That's blowing my mind. The number one, you have a school PA system, and number two, you have a DJ for it. I think the PA system in my school, I think it existed, but I can barely remember them ever using it. It wasn't a regular thing. And there's a DJ? What? What the fuck is the point of that? DJs in air quotes. Yeah, but you had anybody who would like... It wasn't just like the principal coming on once every 4 months to go like, and the GAA team has come back and they have lost in the quarterfinals. That is all. Is that it? We had PA but no music. We had daily announcements. That's amazing. Oh, I thought an arm was coming through. This is my house, by the way. Hang on, I think I have a torch. Yippee! I built a gun and a second story to the house off camera, so I wouldn't die. So I am all set up for... Well, I need to build better guns, because right now I'm using this shit, a semi-automatic pistol with a handful of bullets. And I need to get, like, metal things on the windows so people don't blow it up. And I need more scrap. And some shoes. I still haven't built shoes. I don't know how. So we'll build some shoes at some point as well. Let's do Rust. I think I must have... I have food and water. Yeah, I have some mushos and stuff. Basically, we're just going to go out on like a big circuit of the map and see what we can find. Anybody who I see is kill on sight. I used to always listen to Pink Floyd in my headphones, being angsty about the education system. See, I think one of my least favourite Pink Floyd songs is their probably most famous one. You know, the "We don't need no education." That one. I find that one slightly obnoxious. But I do love Pink Floyd. Anyway, bet please. Let's run a bet for it, shall we? Let's run a bet for Rust. I'll do the standard one I was doing last time. Will we survive 20 minutes and not get killed by bears? I mean, I do have a gun now, so it's, you know, could be better. Start prediction. Will Dreya live for 20 minutes? I'll get out my phone before I run this. We don't need no thought control. Hey, teachers, leave them kids alone. Let's do 20 minutes. Sorry. I haven't listened to that in so long. Start prediction. You have 2 minutes to bet, and I'm starting the timer now. Fantastic. Let's go back to the game screen. I love Boney M too. Meanwhile, my rebellion system was listening to Boney M in my headphones instead of Pink Floyd in high school. I was very much a music snob. I am still a music snob. I hate to say it, but I am. I listened to a lot of 70s prog rock in school. Like, a lot. And to the point where I would really judge people. I mean, I would never speak to them because I was a nerd with no friends. But I would always judge people if they listened to anything from after, like, the 80s. While listening to some of the worst shit you've ever heard. Like, really bad, like, airdrop. Really bad prog rock and really bad, like, 80s hair metal. Awful, awful music. Town of 87 people had to be bused 2 hours both ways to a school that's covered all grades for 250 students. Oh, that's rough. I lived in a town of 8,000, maybe? My secondary school was built in... The secondary school I went to was built in about 2006. And it combined 3 smaller secondary schools from the area into one mega school with about 1,000 students-ish. So, and it was about 5 minutes drive from my house. Maybe a 20-minute walk. Which is fine. I live in a small town, but not 87 people small. I was small enough that it's small, but big enough that it had, like, an actual infrastructure and school system. Loved Def Leppard. I did love Def Leppard. Def Leppard was one of my favourite bands when I was about 13. And you cannot be a music snob while also liking Def Leppard. You can't be a music snob and allow Def Leppard to play, basically. Like, Def Leppard are like the antithesis of good music. They're unbelievably shit. I still own 3 albums of them. On CD, I think, somewhere. So I can't be a music snob. It literally doesn't make sense. Okay, airdrop might be coming in this way. I don't think it's dropped. You'd see it blinking, right? Oh, I like this cricket sound. I've never noticed that before. I think, actually, my sound must be up unbelievably high. Oh my god, that will blow out my ears if I try and shoot something. There we go. Fucking hell. Okay, that sounds a lot. Okay, Jesus Christ. Thank fuck I noticed that. Now I live in a city with lots of people.
Suck your dad.
Suck your dad.
Minging is fucking minging.
Fucking minging. I have forgotten what accent that is again. Is that a Birmingham accent or is that a Liverpool accent? It sounds like Birmingham to me, but it does the thing that the Liverpool does. Fucking minging. Fucking Scouser. Okay, there we go. It's Liverpool. That's the most music snob way to explain why you aren't a music snob, because you like Def Leppard. No, I was a music snob, but I was a hypocritical one because I listened to trash. If you're going to be a music snob, at least listen to something that isn't abysmal. But I did. Fucking minging. Sorry, that's the only way I can apparently do a Scouse accent, is by mimicking that. The Scouse accent is apparently quite close to the Irish accent, but I still can't do it. The same way that Scottish is apparently quite close, but I mean, Jesus Christ, I did a YouTube video, ! YouTube. I don't know if that's a command that works. I did a YouTube video the other day where I played a Shrek-themed dating sim. It went about as well as you would imagine. But at one point, I tried to do a Scottish accent for his voice, and immediately I was filled with so much embarrassment and shame that I had to stop. I can't do it. Newfie is basically just faster Irish, so I've heard. The Newfoundland accent. Newfies. I've been scared to watch that video. I thought it was quite funny. But then I am me and I made it, so I can't be trusted. I used to be a real piece of shit. My hair is kind of slicked back today. I mean, not really. It's more sort of tossed back. It's getting quite long now. I'm sad you didn't play it on stream. I felt like it needed the attention. Also, I like the idea of making more stuff bespoke for YouTube, rather than just just kind of editing stuff that's been on the stream already for the YouTube audience. Because I don't really have much of a YouTube audience, to be honest. I might start recording more bespoke videos. Just short ones like that. If I watch YouTube, I'm going to be sad I can't say things. You could just type like 50 YouTube comments. I got my hair back daily. Doesn't make anyone with that hairstyle a piece of shit. Oh, I gel my hair back daily. I thought, you regrew it for a second. It is a reference to a sketch show. I like wearing my hair back. I don't gel it back that much. I don't know, I've never really settled on a hairstyle. When I was a teenager, when I was going through the fedora and Def Leppard era, which is a grim thing to say about your own life, but when I was going through that era, I had hair a little bit like Terry Wogan. Really not good. Really, like a bad 70s side parting. Horrible, horrible hair. At one point, I would say probably the nicest my hair has ever looked is probably when I shaved the side of it and dyed it blue. Genuinely. I think it's probably the best I have looked. Because I was a little bit thinner as well. And I shaved the side of it and got my mum to dye it blue for me because I didn't know how. I was about... That makes me sound about 16. I was about 23? 24? That is how shit I am at day-to-day activities. I went to my mum's house and went, "Can you help? I don't know what to do." And she went, "Yeah, all right, fine. I dye my hair constantly wacky colors. Go for it." I was like, "Thank you." Oh, it feels like I might get shot soon. Hang on. Let me turn off the torch. I might be about to get some cool stuff. Forgotten who Terry is and what he looks like again. Too British? Terry Wogan was Irish, how dare you? Although he was on the BBC, so it counts. Terry Wogan was a television presenter and radio DJ who hosted the Eurovision for many, many years. And basically is the reason that I watch the Eurovision at all. Because Graham Norton's very funny when he hosts the Eurovision. Let me just see if anyone comes up here. Graham Norton is a very funny presenter when he hosts Eurovision. He's quite catty. Terry Wogan would get absolutely fucking smashed and just start babbling. Like, he would just start rambling about nothing and then go to sleep. Like, it was fucking deranged listening to that show. I loved it. Okay, let's take everything. Some fucking bullets and stuff. Let me put you on here, actually. I'll take this gun instead. Yippee! Okay, run away before anybody comes and kills me. Now I've got a proper fucking gun, though. Look at that. That was easy. Everything's coming up Millhouse. Tez was great. I like Terry Wogan. I don't think anything horrible has come out about Terry Wogan. He was a 70s and 80s BBC star, though, so you never know. My mum listened to Wake Up with Wogan in the car every morning. Bendy buses, have I got news for you, Terry Wogan here. The learning doesn't stop for Silas. We don't have bendy buses in Ireland, I believe. That's a very British thing. Boris's bendy buses. Terry Wogan here. Have I got news for you? Oh, Christ. Have I got news for you? Even before I kind of learned that the people producing it, and Ian Hislop especially, are a bit of a cunt. I always found Have I Got News for You the most insufferable of all of the panel shows. And I'm even including like 8 out of 10 Cats in that. Because 8 out of 10 Cats is aggressively shit. It has Sean Locke in it, who's funny, but that's the only thing it's got going. Have I Got News for You, though, was really smug and also really fucking boring. I really didn't like it. So smug is the problem. Yes, we're very much in tune with that. So unbelievably smug, like sort of centre-left liberal smugness. And then also, they just don't really make jokes. They just sort of sneer at headlines. And it was so fucking aggressively unfunny. I really didn't like it. That's what that stands for. Have I Got News for You? It has been running for... Christ, how long has it been running for? It's one of those shows, a bit like QI probably, right? Or Doctor Who, or one of the soaps, where it'll probably never get cancelled, because it's been going on for, I'm going to say 30-something years. And I've seen old clips and new clips. And it's never fun. It's never funny. Just Ian Hislop chortling over and over again and Paul Merton doing his deadpan shit. Oh my God. It's always there. Somehow it's always there. I remember being an infant and seeing Have I Got News for You on the TV with new episodes, and it's still on. Last year I decided to try and watch every episode. Oh, Christ. That's like when one of those fucking psychopath magicians tries to like preserve themselves in a block of ice for a year. Jesus, that's horrifying. Or when Rosie on this chat said that she was watching every episode of Grey's Anatomy and then at some point had a breakdown and had to stop because, Christ, why would you do that to yourself? John Oliver has a way better smugness. I haven't watched Last Week Tonight with John Oliver in quite a long time. Probably like a year, 2 years, something like that, maybe even 3. But I like it. Like, I mean, I don't know if I can say that when I just said I haven't watched it in a long time, but I quite like that show. I think it's funny. The problem was, I really liked that show at the start of the pandemic. I really, really liked it. I thought it was really, really funny. And I realized something, is that I can't stand the American audience for that show or for any comedy show. Because when the pandemic happened, John Oliver, if you don't know, it's like a late night, it's not a talk show, but it's like a late night news comedy show in the same vein as like The Daily Show or something like that. But in my opinion, actually funny instead of The Daily Show, which isn't. But John Oliver was on The Daily Show, if you don't know that. It's when the pandemic hit and John Oliver had to do it without an audience, I thought it was so much funnier. I don't know why. I didn't know why until I thought about it. I was like, oh, I'm finding this way funnier. It's like the jokes are landing more, they're quick fire. And I realized when the audience came back, once the pandemic started lightening up a little bit, that it was because of the audience. Because American audiences, after every fucking joke he says, go, Yahoo! Whoa! Yeah! Woohoo! Yeah! For about 6 or 7 hours after each joke. and then he just has to stop dead and wait for them to stop, and it completely ruins the flow of the comedy. When there's no audience, he's just like quick firing jokes over and over again, and it's really funny and interesting. When the audience is there, it's insufferable. And I realized that is basically the same case with any live thing with an American audience. When there's an American audience, they don't shut the fuck up. I feel like, was it Eddie/Susie Izzard who did that in one of her routines? It was like, okay, I want you all to just clap once between each joke, because you'd go on too long. I discovered he existed in the 2010s on Tumblr, like the Super Bowl, but I still don't know what the Super Bowl was. I thought it was a concert or something. It may as well be. People tend to tune in for the concert part of it, right? I don't know, really. The audience isn't great, but when you're live here, you get used to it. That's true. Or when you live here. It's probably true. It's probably fun for the audience. Like, if you go to a live gig in America, it probably is fun, because you're all hooting and hollering. I first saw him on Community, and that's it. Weird that. John Oliver is very, very unknown over here. Same with other Scottish talk show hosts in America who I quite like. Craig Ferguson. Yes, him as well. Craig Ferguson is like a big Scottish host in American TV, but nobody knows him in Scotland, I think. And then same with John Oliver. John Oliver was not well liked in Britain. Like, he was on the British like panel show and comedy circuit for years, and nobody liked him, and he was barely on anything. He was on like 2 episodes of QI when I was a kid. Just really did not really make it. And then went to America and was instantly huge. At least it's not Corden, where he is actually kind of funny. Whereas James Corden got huge in America, and I think everybody agrees that he's pathetic shit. Halftime show, and because of capitalism, the adverts. That never... I have no idea why people watch Super Bowl ads. Because they are just ads. They're not even interesting. They're just like straight up ads. I didn't realize it was the American Grand Final with more hectic musicians and advertising. I quite liked him when he showed up on Mock the Week. I probably saw him on Mock the Week because I watched a lot of Mock the Week. That's another one of my great shames. That I really liked Mock the Week. Mock the Week's not good either. Don't watch Mock the Week. I think Mock the Week has actually officially ended after many years. I feel like that was on the air for... I'm going to say it, too long. I think that was on the air forever. Let's put that there, put that there, put that there. We have lots of attachments. That's good. Let's put some stuff away. Mock the Week is horrible. Is it Mock the Week or Mock the Week? I mean, it ends up being both. Mock the Week was a panel show with some very funny comedians. Dara O'Brien, at least when I was growing up, was probably my favourite comedians ever. I really like Dara O'Brien. I think he's really funny. Frankie Boyle said some fucked up stuff in the past, but I think Frankie Boyle, really, really, really funny. And there's others as well on the show we won't talk about. But those two were really funny. Then Frankie Boyle left because he made a joke about the Queen's vagina, and the British government were like, no, you can't say that. Cancel culture gone mad. And, oh Christ, Russell Howard was on it, who I found funny at one point. And that's all I'm going to say, I guess. I found him funny at one point. At one point, he was funny to me. But eventually I realized that, and it's been typed in chat, eventually I realized that they weren't coming up with jokes on the fly like an improv bit. They were just reciting parts of their old routines. Because when you found, like, when you would watch their DVDs or something, the stand-ups that appeared, you would just see bits from Mock the Week. And I was like, oh, it's literally just repeated jokes. Oh, well. I mean, you know, that's what you do as a comedian. But I was like, oh, I've seen this joke before. It's not funny. And also, I really noticed that there was basically just white guys. It was actually a moment for me, because I was still a kid when I was watching Mock the Week. It was a moment for me when I kind of first realized how bad representation was. Mock the Week was the one that did it. Because I was like, man, I've watched probably like 200 episodes of Mock the Week, because it was just always on like Dave. And I went, man, there's been like 2 women and 2 black people on the show. And there's a lot of both of those in British comedy. And then at a certain point, you could tell that some sort of memo had gone around at BBC saying you have to have a woman. Please, for the love of God, you have to have either a woman or a brown, please. And so it was basically just the same two female comedians over and over again, who were funny and fine, but they would never get to talk. Like, I remember watching another panel show, which is kind of also shit. I remember watching listening to a Radio 4, a BBC Radio 4 panel show called The Unbelievable Truth, and it's hosted by David Mitchell and has its own kind of regulars. And he introduced, I think it was Shappy Khorsandi, who's a comedian I kind of like, as she recently appeared on Mock the Week as the role of woman trying to get a fucking word in edgewise. And I was like, yep, that's Mock the Week. That just sums it up, to be honest. It always felt like Mock the Week was sort of a boys' club. When you think you're watching a repeat, but it's just because it's the same lineup again. Yep. There'd be like 6 fixed guests and then 2 would rotate. It was a very... Again, after a while, when I started to have some sort of realization, I was like, oh, this is very sort of insular and weird. It just took me a little bit to get it. I was like, oh, this is what people are talking about when they're saying that, like, it's hard for, like, women in comedy and, like, people of colour in comedy, because fuck me, this is probably, at the time, was the biggest comedy show in Britain. I mean, everybody seemed to watch it, and it was huge and ran for, like, 2 decades. And you would just see almost nobody who wasn't a white guy. Who was the guy that was always on it, but he came across like a lost builder? That could be a few of them, to be honest. Milton Jones? The guy who told weird one-liners? Andy something. Is that the guy who his whole joke was, I'm bald and I'm shouting? Is that him? I always hated him. He was the one I liked least. Hang on. Mock the Week. Andy Parsons typed in chat. This fucking guy. His whole thing was, I've got a slightly raspy voice and I'm going to shout really loudly the least funny jokes you've ever seen. And he was a regular, and I don't think has done anything else ever. I jumped to thinking Milton Jones too. He never seemed like a comedian, just someone's builder. I mean, he just seemed like he had shown up and was somebody's friend. Because I've never seen him do comedy outside of Mock the Week. Andy Jones was disappointed he wasn't replaced by a woman on Mock the Week. Did he leave? What else has he got going on? Jesus. Anyway, let's go. Oh, the bet is up, by the way. Dismiss. Fantastic. I'll pay out the bet. Now, I recognise we haven't really left the house, but I'll pay it out anyway. Let's do more adventure-y stuff. Very weird cadence. Speaking slowly. Punchline. Dreya, thoughts on Whose Line? This might be kind of controversial. I don't like it very much. I think Whose Line Is It Anyway? Number one, I find improv comedy, the bet is on, by the way, I find improv comedy quite cringe. Just in general. I don't really like it. Number two, I think it's so obvious that it's not fully improv comedy that it ruins even that. Like, I think Whose Line Is It Anyway? It's so clearly, like, rehearsed bits that it takes away any of the possible fun of it being improvised. And I don't like improv in the first place, so I was never going to like it. But, you know, your mileage may vary. Is Whose Line still going? I'm used to Canadian Whose Line, and I find ours quite enjoyable. There was 2 versions. There was the British one and the American one. I think I've seen a bit of both. Never massive. It's just, it also felt, and this is also insulting, it felt a bit Benny Hill. Like, there would be a lot of, like, musical bits and, like, hoedown sketches. And it made me feel like I was watching that Fastest Milkman in the West thing, which is basically, I mean, I'm not going to say suicidal, but, like, not happy. I'm not a fan. Right, let's put the armor in here. And we'll mulch this down. I don't think I need steel sheeting for anything, do I? It's really only funny when Ryan and Colin are involved. Colin's Canadian. Is that Colin Mockery? I think Colin Mockery seems like a cool dude, right? Which makes me sound very uncool. Colin Mockery is meant to be really nice. I don't really know anything about any of the others. Pretty sure the piano player guy in British Who's Line was an accomplished physicist or something. I have no idea. He's shown up in a number of Canadian TV shows. I think he's relatively still famous and considered funny, right? I could not name another person. I think one of the Who's Line boys came out as pansexual recently. So that's nice for them. And I cannot tell you. I think his name might have been Wayne? Wayne? Maybe? The photo of him was wearing a very silly hat. That's all I know. Again, I did not watch enough of it. Let's go fuck some people up. Let's try and find a boy to kill. Where would boys be? I'm going to hit like the populated areas, like the supermarkets and the abandoned casino cabin. That doesn't say casino. The harbour and stuff. We'll pick up some loot and see if we can shoot some boys. I love Colin. I love Colin the Caterpillar. No, that's not even true. Emma loves Colin the Caterpillar. I'm neutral about Colin the Caterpillar. I don't think I've ever actually eaten a Colin the Caterpillar because I don't like cake, but it is Emma's favourite cake. Every birthday, I buy Emma a Colin the Caterpillar cake and like a fucking crate of chocolate, and she's happy. Emma has tried many, many fancy cakes in her life, many like high-class gâteaux, but always comes back to the Caterpillar cake as like the peak of food. I can't say I get it, but Tesco has like a vegan one, so maybe I'll try it at some point. I doubt it'll be good. I don't know if other countries have the Caterpillar cake. The Caterpillar cake might be like a British-Irish thing. It might just, I mean, it's very British. It might be an Irish thing as well. Oh. The Caterpillar cake is a thing. I don't know who started it. I don't know what the original Colin the Caterpillar cake is. I know that there was some not insignificant legal trouble about it, where various shops were all suing each other. Like, was it Asda had the original in England? And then they had, like, a fucking, like, screaming match with Aldi, or M&S had it. Was it M&S were suing Aldi or Asda or one of those? Basically, the shop that did it first was suing others because they would have other Caterpillar cakes. We don't have it. It became, like, a phenomenon. Again, Emma understands it more than I do. M&S. I've never been in an M&S because I don't know if it comes across, but I have a very middle class Irish accent. Like I have a hugely middle class Irish accent to the point where I would get mocked about it as a kid. But I am not middle class, and did not really grow up with very much money and have no money now. And so every time I see the outside of an M&S, I just have an innate feeling that it's too posh for me and that I can't go into it. So I've never gone in. I look at M&S and I look at their advertising and go, nah, I won't be welcome there. Cuthbert is the Aldi one? Oh! Cuthbert the Caterpillar. That's adorable. Do they have M&S? Yes, not many, but there's one in Cork City. There's one right by Parnell Station as you get off the bus in Cork City. So I pass it constantly, but I've never bothered going in. Where even am I? I guess I'm taking the rails. Fuck it, let's walk off this way. Some sort of lovely pupa cake. I mean, other bugs are cute too. If they had a roly-poly cake, I would eat that just because it's a roly-poly cake. Like, caterpillars are cute. Caterpillars are a very cute animal, especially the fluffy ones. But a roly-poly, that would get me to eat cake. And it's very difficult to get me to eat cake. I'm assuming M&S is very English, by the way, right? Just from their ads, because their ads were all just like, was it Nigella Lawson? It was somebody with like a sexy voice going like, oh, look at this cake. Oh, it's got so much chocolate spilling out of it. You want to fuck this cake, don't you? Think of this cake like a vagina. Now look at us cutting it open and all the chocolate is spilling out. That was every ad. And I feel like that really didn't appeal to me. Because that's one of the least appealing ways to talk about food, in my opinion. No, you don't get to go not like this. That was what the ads were like. Judi Dench's favourite thing for her birthday is Colin the Caterpillar cake from M&S. There we go. Emma is very much like Judi Dench. I guess, in that way and no others, I think. M&S is too posh. I do treat myself, though. M&S seems like a shop where if you're not very posh, you just do your bits in there, right? Like, do people do their main shop in M&S unless they're like a peer in the House of Lords? Someone who's into vor and lewd things, no, don't talk about cake like this. I guess swallowing an entire Colin the Caterpillar cake would maybe count as a vor thing. Official ban. It's just, I don't know. I remember seeing an ad that looked a lot like a visceral cream pie image, but it was like chocolate on a cake. Something like that. Stream elements. I love my friends. Fuck off with that wholesome quote. As I'm saying this. What does the launch site do? I assume launches rockets, but I don't think I've ever actually been in there. Is this the one with the big fucking tank that roams around and kills you? I should probably have my gun out. I should be paying attention more in general. I would officially ban M&S for that. I'm sure somebody's made Colin the Caterpillar vor porn. I can't guarantee it, but I would imagine so. Loading up Firefox. Firefox is crashing in solidarity with all of you, I think. Rule 34. Colin underscore the still nothing. No, nothing's coming up. Caterpillar cake. Rule 34. There's caterpillars. Oh, that's a very gaping hole. I don't see any of caterpillar cakes, though. It's just caterpillars. And one which is like the JCB brand. The brand of digger. Oh, they're spreading that digger wide open. I just see caterpillars. Yeah, it's just caterpillars. No actual cake caterpillars. So you're all safe. Rule 34 has failed for once. That is a very gaping bussy on that caterpillar. Right, closing this. Close that, close that, close that, close that. Because I will be banned if I show this. Go back over to the game and here. That poor Firefox. Oh, the Firefox logo has definitely been looted. Christ, the amount of furries on Firefox. It's like the furry browser. I use it because I don't like Google, but like, you're also supposed to use it if you go rawr. Coward. Twitch would probably be fine with it if I showed a gaping caterpillar on stream. It was a very anime-looking caterpillar as well. You couldn't even really recognize. It was a bit like one of those cowardly things where, you know, they've anthropomorphized it so much that it barely resembles anything to do with a caterpillar. That's cowardly. Who were the boys that Dreya was instructing to come them? I can't remember. That is a very gaping bussy. I always go back on pronunciation with that word. Is it bussy or bussy? Like, do you pronounce it like a bus? Like a bendy bus? A bendy bussy? Or do you pronounce it as bussy? As in, like, B, but with the word pussy. I think it's probably the second one. Busey. It's a Busey. Oh. Again, I guarantee there's like Gary Busey / fiction. Did I just throw that in the ground? There we go. Let's eat this. Fantastic. Somehow we're hurt. I don't remember being hurt. Where am I going? We're going to the abandoned supermarket. Surely somebody will be online over there. Claude Debussy. How do you actually pronounce that name either? Because it can't be Debussy. I mean, it can. It's a bit like how gooning meant something completely innocuous. It meant binge drinking on bagged wine, or it meant being a fan of Arsenal Football Club. But now, because of the youth, gooning is depraved. And you can't say gooning anymore. The woke mob has ruined the word gooning. So it's fine. Bussy didn't mean that back when Claude Debussy was around. He wouldn't have gotten people, you know, talking about bussies. I'm going the wrong way. Love a good goon set. Oh. The fuck does gooning mean now? You run in furry circles. I thought you would have known that. Gooning meant, well, there's many different versions of the word goon. There's a goon as in like a Batman villain, you know, like a sort of henchman who wears a bowler hat and goes, "Yeah, boss." That's a goon. There's goon as in being a fan of Arsenal Football Club. They're colloquially known as gooners. There's goon bags in Australia, which I think are like plastic bags full of cheap wine, which seems really sad. And then there's the modern parlance of gooning, which is... I mean, let me get like an actual dictionary definition. Again, if I show what will come up. Gooning. It also apparently means legal kidnapping, where parents hire rehabilitation organizations to seize their children. Oh, Jesus Christ, that's pretty bad. What does goon mean? Slang. It also means a foolish or awkward person. Here we go, Urban Dictionary. This is what it currently means. Gooning may be most simply defined as the state usually achieved after a prolonged edging session, when you become completely hypnotized by the feeling radiating from your genitals. Since a gooning state can only be achieved after edging, you will become mightily aroused, and every caress of the genitals will trigger a potent elation. He enters a state of goon trance where his mind intimately merges with his cock. The gooning state, where a dick and you become one. When the gooning state is achieved, your body becomes, for all intents and purposes, an appendage to an erection. When this state is achieved, you become freed of all social codes of conduct. A gooned out man will become very expressive and demonstrative, and they'll do like the ahigao face, right? Sorry, people are very upset. aceweek.org. Is it Ace Week? That's the opposite of gooning. Ace Week 20. It is. Oh, it's coming up on Ace Week. Oh, it is Ace Week. 22nd to 28. Wow, this is the opposite of Ace. An annual campaign to raise awareness, build community, and create change around the world. I always find it like there's obviously all bigotry is bad. And a brave take, Dreya. All bigotry and oppression is bad. But like, when it comes to like the gays, for instance, if you're like really religious, you can see how you'd be like brainwashed into thinking the gays are bad, or the lesos, or the bisexuals, or something like that. Because it's like, oh, my book says that's wrong, you know, something like that. Why does anybody dislike the ace? That one's always confused me. Because it's just as bad as the others, you know, if you discriminate against gays or bis or trans or anything. But why the ace? What does anybody have against them? It really feels like they're just kind of... Like you're just going up to a random, like, rock or a frog sitting on a lily pad and going, and you too, we don't like you either. I don't fundamentally get it. That's the ace flag, apparently. I couldn't have even described the ace flag. It's just a very confusing one. I don't like them. They're not shagging. I mean, really, that's what it comes down to. I mean, I understand that humans in general, when they're bad, they basically pick up on any perceived difference and are like, you know, fuck them. Or not, depending on what you're, you know, angry at. But ace is so... Like, by any standards, no matter how religious you are, surely ace is innocuous as fuck. Surely it's just like, oh, I'd rather... It's like, you know, taking part in some sex and then people going, oh, no, none for me, thanks. Like, that just leaves more for you. Relax. Like, if you're not ace, then surely you should embrace the aces. Because it's like, that, you know, takes out competition or whatever, I guess. Heteronormativity, that's it, I know, but like, it's always been slightly baffling to me, basically. You must breed. Oh, like, that is, I think, the sort of line, but that's even more fucked up, because it's like, you're an ace boy, are you? Are you sure you don't want to do cums in a pussy? You sure? You're not saving up any cums?
Boys! Ah!
Because it would make more kids. Embrace but with consent. Oh my god. Like, that is the thing, right? It's like, that's when you strip away any language around it, that's what they're angry about. I'm worried that a boy might not be doing a cum in a pussy. And I'm very angry about it. I want every woman to look like, every vagina haver, I want them to look like an M&S ad with the chocolate spilling out. I want Nigella Lawson to be like narrating over it. I think a lot of those mean people, anything that isn't straight is gay, and that's not good. Probably. It's just like, you know, when like an old person goes like, the quiz. Stream was so close to wholesome for a whole minute. That's wholesome. I'm an ally. Sounds about right. Jesus Christ. I think this is remarkably wholesome. I mean, I'm supporting them, aren't I? One more than once. Right, we'll take all of this shit and then mulch it down at the streamer blushing. I blush a lot, and it really angers me. Emma will occasionally do that. She'll, like, and pointing out that you're blushing is the quickest way to get someone blushing. It's fucking horrible. It's the same way that every time I smile, Emma says, dimples, and it makes me fucking, it crushes my heart. I hate it. Really despise that shit. I'm supporting them, aren't I? What more do they want? I basically don't want anything about my physical experience ever noticed or pointed out, I think. I'm ace and bi, and 100% sure people would want me to explain if I mentioned it more often. But what does that mean, though? Why do you need to know? I just want to know where your cums are going. It's my right, as another fellow human, to know what you're doing with your cums, okay? I think that's what it comes down to. Let's wander around here, see if there's anything. I think people should just care less about other people's cums. Show me where the cums go. And so you're saying you don't want cums? That makes me mad for some reason. You've probably just not had the right cums. You know, you've probably just, someday, look, we all go through a phase. Someday, you'll find the cums that make you like cums, and then it'll all be fine. Dreya's going to be registering everyone's cums next. It's annoying when queer people don't want ace people in the community, like they feel it's appropriating. It's so silly. I mean, unfortunately, and you think it would, because, you know, it's an oppressed minority. You'd think that being an oppressed minority would make you a nicer person. That is staggeringly not the case, though. I mean, it really isn't. Let's mulch everything. The cum warden. Show me where the cums go. Oh. Cums is pretty unpleasant to say. I'm finding it difficult to get the word out, but cummies is worse, and cums is worse as well. The Council of the Cum needs to know where you came. I'm genuinely relieved I have more labels to pull out, just in case. It's sad. Stop saying it. Oh, we've survived another 20 minutes. I'll pay out the bet in a second. When I'm out of immediate danger. No, put that in, put that in, put that in, put that in. We don't need a scuba tank. Cummy wummy. Oh. It's a bit like when primarily English people, when they say chockies or sweeties. Oh, would you like some sweeties? Would you like some chockies? That, or bickies. Bickies is a big one. Oh, ooh, I'll be naughty and have a bicky. That's like ASMR to me, where it sends a shiver up my spine in a way that makes me want to lash out and hit someone. Really fucking unpleasant. Let's take all of this yummy loot. Yummy is a bad one as well. Anything that ends with an MY, I guess, or even just a Y. Panties. Just saying the word panties. I'm with you on this one. I'd happily slay my fellow countrymen for that. Panties is very American, and that's wrong. Would you like some chockies, sweetie? Oh, it's either the most condescending tone of voice possible, or a kindly grandmother saying that. Would you like some chuckies, sweetie? I don't know why they're all from London. I hate gatekeeping, more the merrier. Yeah, be weird as fuck. Just whatever, you know. Everybody be as many labels as possible until people's brains overload. When someone calls Yorkshire puddings Yorkies, I want to scream. They do that? In my head, a Yorkie is either a brand of dog, whatever, a brand of dog, or a brand of really shit chocolate. I've never heard a Yorkshire pudding called a Yorkie. Or a chocolate bar for men, not for girls. Yorkie, it's not for girls. Yorkie, you have a penis. Yorkie. Sorry. I have 4. Who can top that? Right, let's pay out the bet and run back another one, shall we? I still have the Wikipedia page for Gloria Hunniford up, as if I will ever go back to that. Choose outcome. Yes, I will live for 20 minutes. Next bet. Penis. Yorkie is definitely the shit chocolate. I remember looking up, I think this was before I was vegan, but I remember looking up what Nestle chocolates there were, just because I wanted to avoid them, because, you know, they're evil. Even for a chocolate company, they're evil. And I remember looking it up and thinking, oh, who would ever eat any of these? These are all the worst brands of chocolate. They make like Kit Kat and like Crunch Bars and Munchies and Yorkie. Like all of the chocolate that you would pick last at a shop anyway. So it's really not difficult. He'll be straight back on Gloria when we're all gone. Oh, whoa. Gotta watch Loose Women. Oh, Christ. I think I'd rather eat a Yorkie than watch Loose Women, and I don't want to do either. Kit Kat is so universally beloved. See, I was very confused when I found that out, because Kit Kat was always the one I thought was possibly the shittest. I think Kit Kat is really bad. Now, I haven't had any of the wacky flavors. Like, there's some wacky Kit Kats. There's, like, green tea Kit Kat. I think it's because I don't like wafers. Like, it's weird that they're popular universally. You'd think a Kit Kat would only be popular in, like, Eastern Europe. It has that kind of taste to it. Eastern Europe, where they're all fucking wafer mad. They're all fucking gooning for wafers. That's why all their chocolate is disgusting. Or like an ultra cheap, like, grandmother chocolate, like Blue Ribboned or something like that. It's shit, but mums the UK over would buy multi-packs of them. Are they just cheap? Because I don't think... My mum was always a Yorkie woman. My mum loved Yorkies when I was growing out. Time Out bars are the best. Not sure if they're making them anymore. Emma was asking what chocolates do Cadbury's make as a refresher yesterday. I don't know why we got onto that. But I said Time Out, and she went, oh, I kind of liked them. I don't know if they make those anymore. So the jury's out. I've got a Bounty mum. See, I was the only one in my family who liked Bounties. When Christmas time came around and the ceremonial box of celebrations was bought and put on the Christmas dinner table, I would always eat exclusively Bounty and Snickers and throw the rest away. I really like Bounty. Snickers, if there was some there, if there was some left and I was hungry. And other than that, nothing. I always thought Ribband was pronounced Riband. It might be. I've never said it out loud. My mum is also a Bounty mum. There's dozens of us. They took them out in England of celebrations. And I was shocked. I was like, do people hate them that fucking much? Like, they took them out of British celebrations. I actually looked it up to make sure they were still in Irish ones. Yeah, because they're fucking nasty. Bounty and Cherry Ripe. Cherry Ripe is exclusively Australian, and I hate cherries, so I doubt I'd be into it. But, you know, maybe. I really don't like cherries. Any fruit in chocolate, I think, is basically a crime. I think that was a marketing thing. They might be back in there now. I think there was... Again, it's definitely a marketing thing, but I think there was, like, public outcry of, like, how could you get rid of our bounties? And then they put them back in. But that's probably what they wanted, right? It's probably like, oh, people will freak out and we'll get press for bounties. My bounties! They took me bounties! Sorry, how can you fucking hate cherries? I think I've only had cherries a couple of times, but I really disliked them both times. They're too sweet. Too sweet. It's like a dark bounty, but with cherries. So good. I think Americans have something called an almond joy, which looks really good. It's a bounty. It's literally just a bounty, but with an almond in it, like a whole almond. That sounds awesome. That sounds so good. I wish we had that when I was a kid. Because I like nuts and I like coconut. I don't really like chocolate. I remember finding out, or sort of having a realization fairly late on in life, that I didn't like whole nut Cadbury chocolate. What I actually liked was hazelnuts, and that a handful of hazelnuts was just as nice as having a bar of whole nut. And then I didn't buy any more chocolate after that. Oh good, a fucking fish fear me hat. Cool. Wonderful. Walnut whip? I've never had a walnut whip, because I've always hated... Wait, this might be something different that I'm thinking of. Walnut whip is the one with marshmallow, right? It's a bit like a tea cake, but with a walnut, and it's in a spiral shape. It looks a bit like a cartoon shit, I think, walnut whip. My brother loved them, and I thought they were disgusting, because I hate marshmallow. Walnut whip. Yes, one of these. I don't know if these exist in many other places, but they are fucking awful. My nana would always buy these for my brother for his birthday. Just as a little treat. They are absolutely horrible. I mean, I would love the walnut. Walnut's delicious. But that chocolate, it's Nestle chocolate again, so it's like eating an Easter egg or an advent calendar. And then marshmallow in the middle. Ugh. So I doubt they're vegetarian. Are they vegetarian? Walnut whip. Vegetarian. Oh, they are! They're suitable for vegetarians. Wonderful. Like if they've made vegetarian marshmallows. Do you have tonics? We do. I have never had one. Because again, I think tonics are a tea cake. And tea cakes are disgusting. So I've had tea cakes before. I don't think I've had specifically tonics tea cakes. I assume they make other stuff. They're not just tea cake boys, are they? They could be. I genuinely don't know. Stremmer never announces the bets. Only 4 out of 34 people ever get in on them. I will announce them better. Caramel log? I don't know what a caramel log is. Is that like a Swiss roll? It's slightly better than Advent Calendar chocolate. It's not Hershey's. I would say Hershey's is worse than Advent Calendar chocolate. Hershey's tried, I think, to go into Ireland a few years ago, and you only ever see them now because of like special offers in Lidl. You know, they did not catch on because, and I don't mean to be tropey about it, they taste like sick. Like, I know that's the thing that everybody says about them if they're not American. They taste so much like sick that I can't imagine eating one. The wafer tonics are very good, quite tough in a nice way. A hardy chalky bar. Missing my brine story. What is the brine story? I'm scrolling up and... oh, there we go. I have to tell you something. My wife started to drink jalapeno brine the other weekend, and I've never seen her do that. She said she likes the taste of it, so you're not alone in your debauchery. There's dozens of us. That actually sounds really nice. Like, brine with a kick. A jalapeno kick. Although I am shockingly white. I find jalapenos too spicy. I will have jalapenos very infrequently, but I find them a bit too much for me. Who taste like sick? I mean, maybe the people who make Hershey's, maybe they're getting sick into the mixture. I doubt that would be allowed, even in America. I saw an advert for fizzy brine the other day. It looked lovely. That can't be true, but I would try it. Anyway. The brine goes fusty quite quickly. What does fusty mean? Is this a British word that I don't know, or what? Hershey's is a bag chocolate. What I imagine loose chocolate at the bottom of an old rucksack would taste like. That's a very good way of describing it. I don't know why Hershey's tastes like that. Because again, I've only had it once or twice, but it was... I mean, it's huge in America, right? People think Hershey's is nice there, but it's so... Ooh, I think it's way more sugar and way less cocoa powder or cocoa solids or whatever you want to call them in Hershey's. So it just tastes like sweet cardboard sick. Fusty is a great word. I've never heard fusty. Is this... It sounds Scottish. I have no idea why. But fusty, I can only imagine said in, like, a Scottish accent. It's bad. I don't know. What's the nicest chocolate? Again, this is... As somebody who doesn't really like chocolate in general, I don't know if I have an opinion on what's the nicest chocolate. Cadbury's, probably. Cadbury's is probably the nicest chocolate. I don't know. What the fuck else is there? Lindt is okay. Milka, I think, was fine. Nestle's and Hershey's are the worst. Mars chocolate is... Tony's? Ooh, posh Dutch boy. Emma and I went in the Netherlands to the Tony's Chocolonely, which I have to say, I'm sure the chocolate's delicious. I've never had it. That is the most shit name I have ever heard for a product. Tony's Chocolonely. We went to the cafe that they own in Amsterdam. And Emma ordered... Fucking hell, I can't even remember what she ordered. It was some sort of... It came in a cup, but I don't think it was a drink. It came in like a big glass thing, like a sundae, and it looked like more chocolate than a person could stand. Meanwhile, I ordered a sensible vegan Caesar salad. It's smelling stale, damp, or stuffy, fusty. So it's a bit like musty, but Scottish, I assume. Galaxy? This might sound insane. I think Galaxy is too smooth. I think it doesn't have any texture to it. It feels like eating solid drinking chocolate. Like, I don't like it. Oh, good. The kazoo has been redeemed. Fantastic. Lindt is basically crack. Used to work at a warehouse in my hometown, and Lindt were one of the biggest customers for years. Everyone was on the rob. Lindt is always considered... In my house, Lindt was the posh chocolate that I used to get my mum for... Ah! Lindt was the one I used to get from my mum for her birthdays and stuff, because it was the slightly higher end chocolate. I don't think fusty is that regional word. I've never heard of it. Honestly, none are bad. Currently have a caramel one at home. I just don't get it. I think chocolate... apparently something like 9 in 10 people like chocolate when they've done surveys. I think I saw that in a YouTube video. Do not take that as gospel. But I think it's something like 90% of people like chocolate. And I just don't get it. It's too sweet. And it gets in your fucking teeth. It's horrible. Oh no, Oasis. The kazoo is Oasis. Do you want me to be sad? I don't even know this Oasis song, by the way. At least I don't think I do. Not off the top of my head. I fucking hate Oasis, though. It's a good song. It's Oasis. When did this come out? 5 years ago? Is this a newish Oasis song? This is... Oh, no, it's from What's the Story, Morning Glory. It's from 95. This is the album that my dad used to play when I was born to get me to sleep. This was played while I was in my crib as a baby in order to get me to sleep, apparently. He tells me that. I fucking hate Oasis. So I can only assume I was sleeping to escape them. What is the track list here? Do I recognize these? Oh, fucking Wonderwall. Don't Look Back in Anger. Champagne Supernova. Oh, Christ. Okay, maybe I'll recognize this. I had a brief factory job years ago in the Terry's factory in York. Like Terry's Chocolate Orange. Terry's Chocolate Orange was one of my favorites as a kid, actually. I think anything with, like, where it would mask the taste of chocolate. Like a Bounty kind of just tastes of coconut. A Terry's Chocolate Orange kind of tastes more of orange than it does of chocolate. Whole Nut kind of just tastes of hazelnuts more than chocolate. They're not Terry's Chocolate Oranges, they're mine. Is that an ad? Yes, it is an ad, because I vaguely remember that. It's a bit like that really obnoxious one from My Waddy. It's not your Waddy, it's my Waddy. Oh, Dawn French, I do remember. Are you into pure dark chocolate which tastes like sadness and makes your mouth dry? I have enjoyed some dark chocolate, but I would never buy it. I don't like that either. It's better than white chocolate. White chocolate is particularly terrible, but I wouldn't buy either, to be honest. Anyway, let's listen to Oasis. Because I'm hyper aware, I'm just paused. Man, I'm shocked by how much it really is just shit Kinks. Like, they really did nick their whole thing, didn't they? It's shit Kinks or shit Beatles. I mean, that's all Britpop, I suppose. Oh, I do know this. I fucking hate that voice. Which one of the pricks is this singing? Which one has the she's electric voice?
She's in a family full of eccentrics. She's done things I've never expected. And I need more time. She's got a sister. And God only knows how I've missed her.
Oh.
And the palm of her hand is a blister. And I need more
Blister. I'm getting flashbacks to my fucking dad playing this in the car. It's either Twatface or the other one. Noel Edmonds. I shared an image of, in a Discord server I'm in, of Noel Edmonds being given birth to in a translucent egg by Mr. Blobby, and people weren't happy about it. People were like, fuck off. I thought it was fun. It's either Twatface or the other one. Neither of them are liked, are they? I'm not surprised. Okay, fucking let's try and kazoo it. Mr. Blobby's terrifying. I was not aware of Mr. Blobby until I was well into my teens, because he did not exist here. That was Noel Edmonds. I see it now. Because Mr. Blobby did not make it outside of England, I think, or Britain. Hello, Irish dad. Alright, let's try and kazoo this. Get it over with. It's like if you asked a chat GPT to write a Kink song. Cheeky chappies. Nice handsome Trump there. That's enough of that. Fuck me, that was unpleasant. Close that and hopefully never have to think of Oasis again. How did they get big, man? How did they get so big? Because they're like still a beloved band, aren't they? I think people still like Oasis. Right place, right time. Oh, where the fuck am I? Oh, it's very dark. Oh, I'm right here. That's fine. I haven't seen another living soul in this game, by the way. It's actually been remarkably safe. I am hungers. Let's eat some foods. Can I get some foods? An apple, that'll do. I hate apples. I would rather be slightly hungry than eat an apple. I know that sounds deranged, but I think I'd rather, if the option was, don't eat for a day or have to eat a bag of apples, I would probably not eat for the day. I think I would find that preferable. I think apples are a low tier fruit. They're not inedible, but I've never had an apple and been happy about it. I put everything that I don't want in here. I'm carrying too much stone as well. Granny Smith is sweet and tangy. I think when I was a kid, my favourite was Granny Smith. I liked the sourness and the tartness. But like any red apple, golden delicious apples, I actually think they should be sued for naming them that. Because it really is false advertising. Golden delicious apples. I mean, they're like the world's worst pears. They're like overly sweet, sandy pears, a golden delicious. Real fucking horrible. Now, I haven't tried any of your fancy designer apples, before anyone says anything. I've never had a Fuji apple. I've never had a Gala apple. Never had any of those fancy apples. Sandy and they taste like someone's punched them. Just very mushy, yes. It's like what people say about pears when they don't like pears. They describe them how I would describe a golden delicious apple. Oh, timer's up. I have a Tory apple, they're nice. Like, I didn't grow up with fancy apples. I grew up with a bag of Granny Smiths or Pink Ladies, which is worse than no food. Right. Dismiss that. Dismiss, whatever. Dismiss that. We'll run another bet. And I'm running a bet, everybody. I'm announcing it. I'm announcing the bet. There will be a bet to see if I can live for another 20 minutes. Will Dreya live for 20 minutes? Complete prediction. No, I did. Anyway, complete prediction. Start prediction. Will Dreya live for 20 minutes? Start. You have 2 minutes to bet. I'm starting the timer now. So if I die in the next 20 minutes, you'll get points. That's how bets work. Worm-infested cooking apples that have been in the ground for a week. I remember I told a story to Emma, and she laughed at me. So we'll see if you laugh at me. She laughed at me in a sort of, oh, you grew up in such a quaint area. I'm a city girl kind of way. She didn't say that, but you could see it in her eyes. I described when I was about 12, 10, 12, 11, around that era. I went to a local orchard in the sort of outskirts of my town, gathered with my little brother, who's about 4 years younger than me, so we'd have been about, 6 to 8. Went with a burlap sack, gathered some cooking apples from the like tree fall with some other people from the town, and then walked over to my nana's house, and she made homemade apple tarts for us, and we had apple tarts for tea. And she looked at me like I was describing the plot of a Paddington novel and laughed at me. You scrumped apples. I think scrumping is stealing apples, right? You were in Farmer Maggot's crop again. Basically, she did describe it as like living in the Shire. How long after that did you burn the policeman and the large wicker man? Won't bring back your damned apples. He was sort of doing a Scottish accent in that, which I can't do. I watched that for the first time recently. It was okay. It was not great. I think it was fine. I liked it. I would never watch it again. There was too much fucking songs. Every time a song happened, I wanted to claw out my own eyes. I hated them so fucking much. But Christopher Lee was great, and so was Edward Woodward. As long as it's not the Nicolas Cage one. I saw that as a kid first, because it came out when I was like 10, and that is... Oh, I'd never watch that again, but for different reasons. It's... Oh, Christ. I maintain, by the way, because Emma rewatched that one recently, after we rewatched the 73 one, or whatever, whenever it came out. Emma rewatched the Nicolas Cage one on her own, because she was just up late. I maintain that movie isn't that funny for that long. I think there are spikes, like when he punches that woman in the bear costume, or when he screams about bees, or when, you know, that sort of shit. That's hilarious. Phallic symbol, that's all funny. But it's like 2 hours long, and that's not that much of the movie. A lot of it's just wandering around. Is that the one with the bees? Yes. It's not a good movie. I mean, the first one's okay. I guess I would recommend the first one, almost as more of a history piece. But in terms of 70s horror movies, it gets blown out of the water by so many others screaming about the 20 bees on his face. In his defense, he is allergic to bees and honey. I don't get that either. Why'd they change it to honey instead of apples? It's just a weird, meaningless change. I sense a copter. It's a cargo one, it's fine. I cracked up on the bear costume bit. That's my favourite one. People always talk about the how to get burned, or the not the bees. The bit I laugh at most in that movie is when he punches that woman in the bear costume. That's really funny to me. Is that a good thing? No, probably. It's really funny. Pink Lady apples were invented in West Australia. Oh, they taste really good here. Is it like how... I've always hated tomatoes. I'm sorry, Italians, but you didn't get them until fairly recently as well, so shut up. I've always hated tomatoes, and Emma does as well. But she went to France recently and said that the tomatoes there tasted so incredible that she now likes tomatoes. That she now realizes what tomatoes are meant to taste like, basically. Is it like that? Where, like, if I ate a Pink Lady apple if I ate an Australian Pink Lady, which sounds vile, sounds like I'm having a root, maybe I'd love them. You're selling it to me more by the minute. I don't know if you have Granny Smith. Yes, I think they come from Sydney. There was a real lady called Granny Smith. Wow! Granny Smiths were the only ones I like. That's Italians told. We do have Granny Smith. I think your country is too cold to grow crops of certain things. We can grow apples, though. Apples are, I'm sure, from Western Europe natively. Surely. I mean, I guess it's the fancy apples maybe you don't grow. Not enough trees or something. Oh, definitely not enough trees. We're fucked with that. I had tomatoes and oranges in Spain. They're like 100 times better. Like, they lose a dimension when they're shipped here. I went to... This is something I never do, but I went to Spain. That's not something I never do. I mean, it is, but that's not the point. I went to Spain recently, and virtually all I ate was, like, grilled vegetables and fried vegetables the entire time I was there. It was so good. Our vegetables suck. Now, I'm not going to deny that the potato is great, but, like, their potatoes, or they're not their potatoes, everything else was so nice there. I hate mangoes, and I had them in Vietnam, and they were so good. See, I love mangoes anyway. The problem with a mango is that I feel like such a greedy little slut when I eat them. Like the juice all spilling down your face if you don't do it properly. They're such a messy food. I feel like I'm performing cunnilingus on a giant when I eat a mango. It never goes well, but it is delicious. I think the UK mainly just produces cooking apples. No, the boring ones. Because I hate apple tart. I know I described that story earlier, but I think apple tart is rancid. The kind I know taste vile, however everyone else seems to still love them. I really like mangoes. I would say one of my top tier fruits. They're under watermelon, but they're still like A tier fruit for me. But I never eat them just because they're inconvenient. It's one of those fruits where it's like the thought of having to prepare a mango outweighs the positive aspects of the mango. If somebody were to prepare a plate of mango for me, like mango slices or cubes, I'd go, yes, please. Cut them up for fuck's sake. I eat watermelon and damned the liquid running down my chin and over my hands. Watermelon is incredible, and yeah, watermelon is good enough that I don't care. Watermelon, I'll be like, yeah, just, I'll be a little watermelon slut. As long as I get more watermelon. So good. I'm giving cunnilingus to a giant. Mango smoothies are good. Smoothies in general are one of the ways I enjoy fruit the most. I don't eat fruit. I don't eat much fruit. What the fuck is this? Hang on, where? I didn't know you could build here. I was shocked for a second. Are these scarecrows? I don't eat fruit very often. I prefer vegetables. I don't really like fruit that much because I don't really like sweets. And fruit... Look, I think people will try to deny it. Fruit is basically just sweets. And I don't really gel with it very much. Like strawberries. Strawberries are fine, but they're too sweet, and so I never eat them. Blueberries, ugh. They're one of the most liked ones, and I don't like them at all. Mangoes are best enjoyed topless. I feel like eating a mango, if you're not carefully slicing it up beforehand, is kind of a feral sexual experience. Do you put salt on watermelon? No, I've never heard of this in my life. You sound like Uncle Monty and Withnail and I. Oh, God. Oh, I haven't watched Withnail and I in like 15 years. I need to watch that again. I loved that as a kid. That was one of my favourite movies as a child. I don't know why. That is not a kid's movie, but I watched that so many fucking times. It's just one of the few DVDs my parents had, I think. I loved that movie. I don't know if it's aged massively well. I've heard people do that. Oof. Nature's Candy. Candy. Nature's Candy. Candy shop. Sorry. I watch it once a year with a pal. It's really good. At least I remember it being really good. Again, it might not be. Anyone around here by the Wangen crates? Is that meant to be Wangen? And it's meant to be like, it's called Wangen. The Wangen? or it has Chinese writing. It's probably not German. I don't know. A bit like a GTA joke where like the beer will be called like Piss Brow and everybody goes like they're Beavis and Butthead. Or Beavis and Butthead jokes. I don't like that either. There's the perfumed ponce scene, but it's held up otherwise. It is from... When is that movie from? 70... I'm gonna say 73, maybe. 72? Early 70s. I mean, I think the movie is set in like 69 or 70. So it would be around then. Bit of a racist bit at the end that hasn't aged well. Oh, is that when they use that slur and say, why is that slur in the bath? It's from 85? Really? Wow. I guess, yeah, Paul McGann is not very old, so that would make sense. Neither is other boy. Richard E. Grant, that's it. That's that Richard E. Grant movie. Never seen it. I laughed, I cried, I fist pumped the air. Oh! Richard E. Grant seems fairly insufferable to talk to or be around, but... he's a very good actor. He's a really, really good actor. What chopper is that? Oh, that's a danger chopper! Oh, fuck! Put these away quickly, 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 quickly. I don't have enough room. Ah, fucker, throw this away. I think if you're wearing more than like 2 pieces of clothing, they get you. Are we fine? Oh, it's going the other way. Well, now I'm just naked and sad. It might be from 86, actually. I know that George Harrison produced it, yes? With Handmade Productions. It's the same production house that did Monty Python's Holy Grail. Because they just produce weird shit like that, basically. Run down the underground entrance? There's an underground entrance here? Where's the underground? I have no... Oh, there's a little thing over there, like a little metro station. I saw a video of him discussing his roles in career, and he was so much more likable, but I'll never forget the fist pumping. It's just... he's, I don't know if this is a derogatory term or a term they use about themselves. He's very much like a lovey, isn't he? Like, this might be too British slang, but like, he's very much the sort of like stereotypical thespian type. The sort of person who just talks like he does, basically. I don't mean to be too rude about him. Right, let's mulch up some of these, make some room. There's big boats you can live on now? Has this game been updated since I played it months ago? Right, let's go here, here. I'll put all my stuff back on the bar. Put on some clothes so I don't freeze to death. I still need shoes. That should be the quest of this round. Get some shoes. I was going to ask Lovey, but then Thespian cleared it up. Sort of pretentious, exuberant Thespian. The sort of person who talks like Richard E. Grant. Was that a seagull or a voice? Is that slang for theatre kid? Kind of, I guess, like a British posh theatre kid. Like a posh boy who goes into the acting profession, darling. That kind of thing. Just overheard a conversation between Horrible David and HAP. Sounded really tense. Hello, Law, welcome. I used to think his name was Richard E. Grant. Thought he was such a dick because of it. Richard E. It's like when I found out that Ralph Fiennes is actually called Rafe Fiennes. And I went, what the fuck? You're even posher than I thought you were. Your name's fucking Rafe? What the fuck? Again, fantastic actor. Does not sound like a nice person. And also unbelievably posh. He's got like 15 surnames. Richard E. Grant. I think the last time I saw Richard E. Grant in anything was the first series of Loki. That Marvel television program. I don't even know if it's on television. Is it just on Disney Plus or whatever? Which I thought was pretty good up until the halfway point, and then I thought it was really bad and vowed to never watch another Marvel product. It was one of the things I was like, okay, I'll give I'll give them one last chance because I've heard that this is good. And then I watched the first half and went, oh, you know what? It's actually very good. It's got Richard E. Grant in a small role. It's got, who else? It's got Tom Hiddleston, who I think is a very good actor. It's got some good stuff going on. And then the second half happened and I went, nah, that's it. I'm never watching another Marvel media piece ever again because that's so aggressively shit. I avoided the Marvel shows. Marvel ended with Endgame for me. It kind of ruined it all. Yeah, I mean, I didn't like Endgame either. I'm a noted Marvel hater if you're new. I haven't ranted about Marvel in forever. I feel like I'm losing my friend. I'm a noted Marvel hater, but I try not to go on about it too much. Endgame, I did not like very much. And also, I was like, okay, now it can end. For me, at least. I'm out now. Because I saw them through, like, social obligations with, like, family or friends or something. I would see these movies. Enjoying very few of them. And then Endgame happened, and I was like, okay, that feels like a wrap-up thing. I'm done now. I'm not keeping up with any of the fucking multiverse shit because it's boring as fuck. I'm done with it now. And I don't think I've really seen anything major since. First series of Loki... And maybe, was there a Spider-Man that came out after Endgame that was set before Endgame? Because I think I might have watched that, and it was part of the reason I have never watched another one, because it's shit. It was so real. It was so fucking annoying. Do I want to kill a bear? If it gets in my way. Where am I going next? I'm going to go off to this mining outpost. I'll actually set a marker for the first time. Lara refers to it as Cape shit. I probably have in the past. I literally only know Blade and Spider-Man from the early 2000s. I can't catch up with everything since then. I am just really sick of multiverse stuff. If I see... It's gotten to the point where... And this is just a personal thing. If you love multiverse concepts and you love superhero stuff, go with God, right? It's going to be fine. You can all like what you like. But if I see a movie or a TV show, and if I look up the little IMDb, like 2-line synopsis, if I see the word multiverse in there, I will not watch it. It's so aggressively annoying to me that I cannot bring myself to watch anything with that word in it. I hate when they introduce time travel or multiverses movies because it means any random cop-out bullshit can happen. Yeah, it's like, again, it's been long enough that I can do spoilers for Endgame, right? It's been fucking years at this point. I feel like they've fallen off in popularity somewhat as well. All the people they killed in the first one come back. And I was like, oh. I mean, I knew it would happen. I'm not an idiot. But, oh. I was like, oh. Did you watch Everything Everywhere All at Once? Yes. Notice I'm not saying that's an exception to my rule. I watched it. I don't really like it. I'm sorry. I know everyone loves it. I'm so sorry. I didn't like it very much. I thought, actually, it's weird. Just after I finished watching it, I went, that was fine. That was like a 7.5 or an 8. That was a fine movie. And then the more I thought about it, the more I didn't like it. And now it's down to like a 5. I really didn't like it that much. I keep trying to watch that and then fall asleep. Oh my god, it feels like you're being punched in the head when you watch it. I don't know how you could fall asleep. I mean, say what you want. It's exciting. I loved it. Most people love it. I'm very, very much in the minority there. A lot of people love it. I mean, it won. Isn't it something ridiculous? Like the most awarded movie of all time. Like it won like the most Oscars, the most Emmys, the most Golden Globes or whatever. Like people fucking loved it. And I watched it and went, oh, really? This one? Like this movie? There's some nice moments in it and there's some funny moments in it. But a lot of it felt like, and I'm using this as derogatorily as I can, a lot of it felt very Tumblr-y. A lot of it felt like lol so random humor. I think the best description I heard of it was millennial Tumblr users write movie where their parents apologize to them. And I was like, yeah, that's the tone it's going for. If you like that tone, you will fucking love it. I found it a bit grating, but it's not bad either. I don't think it's a bad movie. It just didn't gel with me in the same ways it did other people. This is my fucking penance for saying I didn't like Everything Everywhere All at Once. Fucker. Hates it, but loves Killian war criminal staring looking moody movie. At least that one was honest about the world. And how fucked it all is. Where did that come from? I don't have any medicine. I have a bandage. Or any mushies. Just say you hate ADHD, people. I have heard that, actually. If you have ADHD, that the movie speaks to you in a way that it might not speak to others. Which is interesting. That's kind of cool. I get it, because it is a... I think there was a cut every half a second in that movie. It's a very particular style they're going for. There's a cut every half a second with that movie. And it feels very frantic and very hyperactive. I guess it's interesting. It's an interesting movie. It's not a bad movie. I just didn't like it that much. You know what? In a way, it's a bit like Barbie, because I liked their previous movies. I liked, it's by the same guys who made Swiss Army Man and Death of Dick Long, which are very strange indie movies that I really enjoyed. I thought they were great movies. And then they did Everything Everywhere All at Once. And it's a bit like Greta Gerwig doing Lady Bird and Little Women and then doing fucking Barbie. And I watch it and go, oh, this doesn't... Oh, you've gone mainstream. Which is the most... It's a good thing I'm wearing a fucking hat. Like, it's very fedora. But it's like, oh, you've kind of washed out a lot of your interestingness, I feel. Less so with Everything Everywhere All at Once. That still had some weirdness to it. But again, a bit lol so random. Okay, I've survived, by the way. I will do one more bet before I end the stream. I still could be shot while I'm tapping out. Let's pay out the bet. Are you winning? I guess so, in that I haven't seen another human being. Choose outcome. Will Dreya live for 20 minutes? Good stuff. Last 20-minute bet. starting in just a second. Will Dreya live for 20 more minutes? You know what? I'm going to say 25. Because I'll go for 25 more minutes. Star prediction. Dreya would hands down sell out the minute a sponsorship came by on stream. I mean, I agree that I've been offered some sponsorships that I've turned down. I'm not going to name names. But not strictly true. I've been offered some sponsorships by Blado Legends for, you know, relatively high amounts of money for me, and gone, And I won't name other names that I've turned down either. But I don't know, I like what Greta Gerwig said about it. She was like, I'm done with being an indie darling. Now I'm going to make the biggest budget blockbuster shit in the world. And I was like, oh, that's fine. You know, own it. I mean, there's not many women who do that, so good for you. However, I don't like, generally, I do not tend to like the huge budget blockbuster comedies. I tend to like the indie bullshit you were doing. So, keep on, but I probably won't watch. Good for you. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to see movies soon, again. I'm going to go to the cinema a couple of times, at least, in the next couple of months, I think. The Killers of the Flower Moon came out the other day, and that's apparently unbelievably good. I don't like... there's a lot of Scorsese movies that I think are very bad, but I like most of his movies, so apparently this one is great. There's a new Yorgos Lanthimos movie coming out soon, which I can't wait for, because Yorgos Lanthimos makes me feel horrible in a good way. I like his movies a lot. The Lobster is one of my favourites. The Favourite is one of my favourites. I love The Favourite. If you haven't watched The Favourite, that is... And I think a good example of a director doing a slightly bigger movie than they had done before, while still keeping the same kind of sensibilities about what makes them interesting. I fucking love The Favourite with Olivia Colman and Emma Stone and Rachel Weisz. So fucking good. So incredible. That might be my favourite of the ones he's done. Or if you want something slightly smaller, go watch The Lobster. Scorsese's still doing films. The Irishman came out like 2 years ago and was the biggest movie on the planet for a little bit, I'm sure. Yes, Flower Moon is coming out. I mean, it's out now. I don't know if it's out in other countries yet, but it's out in Ireland. We usually get movies later than others. I think people sort of forget Ireland exists for big releases sometimes. Have you seen The Irishman? No, I have not, because it's too long. The Irishman, I'll see it at some point, but the de-aging put me off, I won't lie. The de-aging, the clips I saw of the de-aging, I think looked distracting. And the runtime, Christ, I don't know if I can watch a crime movie that takes place over 3.5 hours. I'm more interested in the story of Killers of the Flower Moon. I think it's an extremely anti-capitalist, anti-colonialist movie, and it tells a story that I'm more interested in from the little I know about it. But The Irishman, I'm less interested in it, and also it's very fucking long. Really long. Bottoms as well. I heard Bottoms was pretty good. And that only released in the US as well. I think that's coming to Britain and Ireland soon, though. So I might go see that as well. Watch it in bits. I've heard a lot of people did watch it as a miniseries, like a 3 or 4 part miniseries, which apparently works fine as well. Emma went to see it, and Emma said it was amazing. Emma loved it. She said basically what I was expecting, which is that, you know, the de-aging is distracting, but once you get over it, it's like some of the career best work from everyone in it. Like, that is a fantastic movie. And people have said the same about Killers of the Flower Moon, that it's like the best Robert De Niro's ever been since like Raging Bull, and the best Scorsese and the best DiCaprio has been since whatever the latest critically acclaimed thing he was in. Like, really good reviews. So I'll go see it. Oh, and Brendan Fraser's in it, who I quite like as well. I didn't see The Whale because it looked shit. I watched some clips of it, I watched the trailer and went, this is Darren Aronofsky at his worst, I believe. I'm not a big Aronofsky guy, and I was like, this is... Oh. I know I won't enjoy it, so I won't watch it. Maybe at some point. The Whale. Fucking hell. Just the name. I'm carrying too much shit still. I feel like I've been mulching lots, but I still have so much stuff on me. I don't need rope or cloth. Come on now. Apparently it's coming out here in November. Yay! Maybe they were just waiting to see if it was successful. Probably. I mean, it's not a huge budget movie, I think, Bottoms. I found The Whale was trying to be depressing, but I found it hilarious. That's true of... I've heard people say that about a few Aronofsky movies, like Mother and stuff like that. I'm still debating going to the cinema for Killers of the Flower Moon. I mean, Scorsese, like I said, I don't love every Scorsese movie. For instance, I hate Hugo. Emma gets angry every time I say this. But I hate Hugo. I don't like Cape Fear, his remake of Cape Fear. I don't like Wolf of Wall Street. There's a couple of others, I'm sure. But he has also made what I think are some of the greatest movies ever made by anyone. They're unbelievably great. I think Raging Bull, Taxi Driver, Goodfellas, like, fucking hell, they're incredible. Even his, like, mediocre movies have something interesting, usually. Like, Shutter Island is not a great movie. But it's fun. It's fine. You know? It's an okay movie. These 3+ hour movies are bollocks for cinema. I think I'm fine with there being 3 hour movies. I'm not that they're asking me. I'm not like on a committee. But I really wish that intermissions were a thing. Because I've never experienced intermission, and I think it would be nice. I think it would be good if there was some sort of like... I would like to... Even if... Because I think I can hold my piss for a prodigious amount of time. I'm good at it. I'm good at holding in piss. But even I would like to maybe stand up for a second. I only stream for like 3.5, 4 hours at a time. And afterwards, even if I don't need to get up and go away, I will. I'll take a walk around my house a little bit or stand outside and like, you know, walk around my garden for a few seconds. Like, I like walking around and being able to move like an over-agitated toddler, I guess. But like... I wish there was an intermission, basically. Just like a 5-minute intermission where you can go out and like maybe get some more popcorn or something. It would probably help them. They'd make more, what do Americans call it? Concessions. Go to the foyer and grab a caffeinated, a shot enough de pop. Pockets full of piss. Dreya loves holding in piss. I literally typed it before they said it. Edging but for weeing. Oh... I've been watching the stream too long. When you say stream, I believe I said 3 to 4 hours. Oh my god, that would be... I mean, would it be incredible or would it be hell if you pissed for 4 hours? Like, obviously you'd have to be hooked up to like an IV drip because you'd leach all of the moisture out of your body. But like, if you were basically like a hose at one end, like just a tap turned on, linked to a hose, constant stream of water, and then you were pissing at like the same rate so you didn't like immediately die. If you had a 3-hour long piss, it would either be incredible, like the best thing in the world, or it would be fucking hell. You know, like how a Roman torture thing was to get goats to lick your feet, because it would be like, ha ha ha, tickly, ha ha, and then eventually it would get real bad. Like, maybe you would, like, erode the inside of your urethra after that long. Probably not. I think the urethra can take some pounding. I've seen videos. Like, you know, I think the urethra, if it was going to be eroded, it would probably be eroded by now. What are the rules? Can you decide when it starts? Oh, I imagine so. I imagine you'd go like, okay, we're going to give you a tablet or inject you with something that makes you piss 3 hours, one off. I'm going to put a little tube in your mouth for water, or like a nutrient-rich broth. And then we're going to just press your belly button, and then you just go. And then you can be, like, next to a toilet, obviously. Like, it would just be like, you'd have to stand still for 3 hours. 2 p.m. sharp. You'd want a chair, I guess. You could just sit down in the toilet. They have, famously, you can sit on those. Yeah, it'll be fine. 2 p.m. sharp, the pissing starts. Set an alarm. I think the urethra could take some pounding. I think it could. The urethra, I've learned from the internet, is a lot stretchier than you'd assume. I wish I didn't know it, but I do. Reach the point of stream where Dreya is fantasizing about a 4-hour piss again. I'm just saying that pissing is one of life's simple pleasures. Like, it's not It's not like a sex thing, but it's like, you know, it's like a pleasant experience that you get to appreciate. I don't know, what's the average amount of times a day? 5? Now I'm worried that that's like either way too low or way too high. 5? 5 pisses a day? Is that normal? You know, it's not like the other excretions. We have like 2 nice excretions. 3. Sneezing is nice, pissing is nice. Obviously orgasms are cool. Everything else we produce sucks. Awful. Banks piss like he's on the weakest link. Like, it's not fun to do any of the other stuff. Urethras are weak to literal air. The only person that imagines about pissing for 4 hours definitely do it as a sex thing. I'm just saying it would be an interesting endurance thing, because I imagine, I'm going to say 30 seconds of it would be great. After that, I think you might start to scream. Or maybe you'd get really worried after, like, if it just happened randomly. 30 seconds, you'd be going like, oh my god, lucky me. And then the next 30 seconds, you'd be like, oh fuck, I need to go to a hospital. And then 30 seconds after that, you'd start screaming. And then if it went on longer than that, I think, I don't know, maybe I'd ask somebody to knock me out. You're trying to engineer extreme pissing as a combination, as a competition. I mean, it might be a thing. There was the lying down world championships just had to end in a tie recently because they reached 45 days and couldn't go any longer. I think they were probably getting like bed sores. They did that on Good Mythical Morning to see who could go longer. Again, I've said this before, and I'm sorry for bringing it up again, but I do feel like I'm missing out a little bit because mine, I think, are quite short. I think the average is meant to be like 10 to 20 seconds. I rarely reach 8. So I would lose the competition. I guess you could probably... I don't know, is there any exercises? Are there muscles in the penis that you can contract at will? Like a Kegel wouldn't do it, would it? Maybe you have to like build something up. Oh, it's a boy! Oh, Jesus!
You alright?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Stuff. It's alright. I'm not... Okay, just checking. Alright.
Oh, fuck! I'm so dumb! Why is my aim so bad? Oh, it's bacon as well. Well... Let's go back to sleep, boy. We're actually fairly close by, I think. No, we're not. Never mind. But let's respawn there anyway. A rocky montage of piss training. Alright, let's delete that. I'll pay out the bet. The answer was no. I said kill on sight, everybody. Will Dreya live for 25 minutes? No. Let's do a 15-minute one. Just because I don't feel like ending right now. Let's go. Will Dreya live for 15 minutes? Bet now. They were so polite there and you started murdering. I'm going to be a murderer on this server. I want to murder people as much as possible. That's my whole thing. So, let's go. I have another gun somewhere, don't I? And some foods. Look, I'm trying to be a murderer, but I'm very, very bad at it. Get me a Thompson. Get me a Thompson and maybe some food? There we go. And then just fucking run out. Don't you need to be off yet? In about 15 minutes, I need to leave. So, hopefully we're back in time. You're so good at the murdering. Right. Eat some mushos on the walk. Reload this as well. Where did I die? Down here. So we're going to the yellow checkpoint. I respect the commitment. Yellow checkpoint. Let's just munch as we walk. Hands-free eating a mushroom. Just like how I eat popcorn sometimes. Speaking of cinemas again, sometimes I eat popcorn a bit like a frog because it makes me giggle. Might be embarrassing to say. By which I mean I'll, like, be sitting in the cinema and the movie's starting, and I'll just put the popcorn up by my chest and just go like, like it just like sticks to the end of your tongue. And you like bring it back into your mouth to eat. That's horrible. Same! Again, there's dozens of us. How do you do a heart? Is it this? That was not how you do a heart. How do you do a heart in chat? How do you even chat now? That and that. There we go. I'm bad at emojis. 8 = D. I wish I had that many equals. That's horrible. Doesn't anybody do that? Like, it's a fun thing to do. You just, like, as you're walking around with your popcorn or walking to your seat or something, you just go like, yeah. And just, like, kind of lem it into your mouth. Could always seek redemption with the unsheathed if you want to atone. Does that unsheathed, is that a euphemism for, like, they don't use condoms? I frog the popcorn too, thank you. I'm not deranged. Unsheathed sounds like a club for people who hate condoms. I'm sure that'll endear me to them. Will everyone stop frogging the popcorn, please? No, next time I go to the cinema, I'm going to get a large popcorn and frog all of it. That's why I made it a church. Exclamation Coke. I passed a tart and thought I need that outfit. That must have been in a video game. You don't get many tarts in my town. My town is made up primarily of teenagers and old people. No one in the middle, really. It's old people who have settled in with their life, or teenagers who haven't managed to get out yet. I'm hoping I managed to get out. I hate my town. Real horrible. Move to a place with more tarts. Yearning for tarts. That must have been Fable. Ooh, lovely. See what I can scrape up. Why are you calling people tarts? I don't think tart, at least in Ireland, is as much of a slur as it seems to be in other places, I'm learning. Like, it's kind of... I'd say people use it almost as a term of endearment here. A bit like the word cunt in Australia. It's a bit like the reverse of that. Where people in Australia and Scotland... I like going out and tarting it up, exactly. Like, in Scotland and in parts of Britain other than Scotland and in Australia, people use the...
a little bit of a slag. I became...
Slag's a bit more edgy. It's a bit like how they say cunt as a term of endearment. Like, oh, you're a good cunt. If you called somebody a cunt in Ireland, they would beat you up. Like, that would be real bad. It's not been sort of sanitized and used as a term of endearment. It's like, oh, you shouldn't say that to people. Oh, stuff's here. Oh, that's, you know what? Oh, you left my scrap. That's wonderful. That's actually mainly what I wanted, to be honest. You have my gun and oh no, I didn't leave my gun, but I have other guns. Honestly, leaving the scrap was very kind. No need for more. I deserve the punishment. Ooh. There we go. Twat. Isn't that worse than cunt in America? Really? Oh, twat is I wouldn't say that's particularly high up in the swearing tiers here. Like twat is, I don't know, maybe average? They kind of in the middle, but Americans I think use it more aggressively. Like, I think it's not something you're supposed to say to an American. Yes, and also they pronounce it really fucking weirdly. They pronounce it twat. which I know it's nonsense that this should be the case. It kind of annoys me. Whenever I hear an American say that, it genuinely does annoy me. They go, twat. It just doesn't feel right. I'm just generally against using words for sex workers. That's fair enough. We could get away with twat in school somehow, really. Like, you know, it's more egregious than, say, bastard. But it's, you know, generally they don't like non-sex workers doing that. Is tart even used for sex worker here? Like, I wouldn't, I'm not saying you're wrong, but basically I'm just ignorant. I wouldn't have associated the word tart with sex worker, but that's probably just me. Like, I would associate it as promiscuous person. Like saying a slut, but in a slightly more endearing way, right? I didn't think cunt was that bad until I said it in front of a teacher. Oh. I think of tart more like slut, yes. Like, sort of like term of endearment version of slut. But it might be country-based, or I might just be an idiot. Slut's tasteful. Twat doesn't have the same impact as twat. This is not about slurs, but they do the same thing with Jaffa cakes. And that really threw me off. I say, what up, slut, to my friends sometimes. It's a bit like Jaffa cakes, where Jaffa cakes are pronounced Jaffa cake, as in the orange style fruit, the Jaffa, and cake. Americans, if you don't know this, this will ruin your day. Americans say the word Jaffa cake as Jaffa cake, as in like Joffa. Could you pass me? Could you pass me the Jaffa cake? When I first heard someone say that, it made me wince. It's absolutely fucking horrible. Emma was a bit like that when she saw an American refer to a jammy Dodger as a jelly cookie. And she went, you shouldn't be allowed speech. Which is fine. Oh, apparently it's been used for sex worker all across UK and Ireland. And that's how it's spread to here, although it's not used as much here. The more I know. But yeah, jelly cookies. Oh, it's some sort of delicious jelly cookie. Also, they called it delicious, which is incorrect because jammy Dodgers are fucking vile. Jammy Dodgers. Again, I'm not a sweet guy, so I don't really like biscuits in general, but jammy Dodgers are among the worst. It's up there with custard creams as being inedible shit. Also general slut shaming. That's true. I would say if you use tart in a non-endearing way with friends, bad vibes. I don't know. In general, I would say this is a... I mean, I can't use the word safe space in this chat, right? Because I talk about fucking urethral damage too much. But, a safe place for sluts. Like, you know, slut it up as much as possible. Craig and Graham are eating... Oh, sorry. I'm doing it in an American voice. Craig and Graham are eating jelly cookies, twats. Awful. Absolutely awful. Craig and Graham really put me off. Because I didn't know what they were fucking saying. I didn't know it was the same name for ages. That they called Graham as Graham, even though there's an H in it. Instead of Graham. I mean, it's not a nice name either way. If your name's Graham, I'm sorry, but it's... very much feels like a 70-year-old retired dentist. Graham. I wish I didn't type that now. I'm feeling ill. There are Americanisms that I probably use. I'm sure there's more than I'd like. I mean, it's not like Britishisms are any better, right? But like, we don't really have our own kind of dialect of English. Irish English, or Hiberno English if you're being fancy, doesn't really have the same breadth of influence or scope because it was crushed so much by the British. So I tend to default to Britishisms. But a lot of Irish people say yogurt, for instance. You get a lot of yogurt users instead of yogurt. I've heard Irish people say trash before as well. I feel like that's sneaking in. And I don't like that one either. I don't like saying the word trash. I feel like I even sometimes use it and then go, oh, when I realise. Where's my house? There's my house. Yippee. How much longer left on the bet? Did I even turn on the fucking timer? Hang on. I did not. Oh, we'll work it out. I mean, if I'm signing out, I will have lived. Yippee! Only one death. I mean, it was mainly because, you know, there's just not many people on right now. I'm told that garbage and trash are of Victorian origin. It is probably like that, where it's like, British people made their accents less rhotic to distance themselves from Americans. Rubbish might be the same, where it's like, you know, oh, the Americans, the colonies have started using trash. Let's make a new one. Let's call it rubbish instead. But, oh, my guinea pig just sneezed. I forgot you were there. Right, thank you everybody for watching. I'm gonna sign out now. Ooh, I need to go out and do stuff. I need to check on my parents' house. They're selling it soon, and I have been tasked to go down and check on it to make sure it hasn't burned down. Also deliver their post. I'll be live again tomorrow. I won't be playing Rust. I'll be playing Rust again on Wednesday, though. I'll be playing more Ripper, the 1996 FMV game starring Paul Giamatti and Christopher Walken, which I'm loving, so I'll play more of that. It crashed last time, and then I booted it back up, and it just completely restored automatically, without me even needing to save. It's genuinely really nice. Modern games do not do that. The amount of times, talking about Baldur's Gate earlier, the amount of times that would crash, because 6 years was not enough development time, it turned out. The amount of times that would crash, and I'd lose like fucking half an hour. Oh, 1996 had it sorted with their 6 CDs. Let me see if I can raid. And then, yeah, I mean, I have the schedule on Discord and on Twitter and stuff. You'll find it if you're interested. I have basically just Rupper and Wrist. Fuck me. Rupper and Wrist this week. I'm not correcting myself. Let's go /raid. I'm typing one-handed because I have a guinea pig. You okay? Were you asleep? She was asleep and then woke herself up with a little sneeze. No, pig. I'll put you down in a second. I'll get you some vegetables when I'm out. Do you want some vegetables? Do you want little vegetables? I need peppers for myself, so I'll get you peppers too. Right, who am I rating? Who's live? I'll raid this person. Underscore. Have I typed that right? No, I haven't. Retype. There we go. Thanks for the stream. Enjoy your long piss. I pissed before the stream, I'll have you know, and have not drunk that much. Only about probably 700 mils. Bye, everybody. See you later. Or see you tomorrow. Bye. Later, sluts.